to have proof of anything. Just show up for the test, and you too could be a sport pilot. But if they didn't understand those, you gotta take the same test as everybody else that had training to Part 91. You know, so if you just show up thinking, without some prep, that was not gonna happen. So yes, the FAA also thought that all these companies, Quicksilver included, were gonna jump on the bandwagon and produce these special light sport aircraft, if nothing else, so they could legally produce an experimental, if you know that whole thing. Only 3 companies jumped on that bandwagon. Quicksilver, CGS Hawk, and the Sport Hornet. Hornet's out of business. I don't know that CGS will ever say they ever sold enough to make it worthwhile. I'm sorry, M Squared, I think, also got in that ballgame.
I
I
thought
don't
they were still in business.
But the CGS or M Squared?
M-Square.
I think they are.
I think they are.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I kind of lost touch with them, but I don't think any of them will say, oh yeah, we've made all sorts of money on this. You know, who's gonna buy a $45,000 Quicksilver base? Who's gonna do that?
Well, you guys showed up here with one of those. I think Quicksilver made 10 SLAs. And I think half of them are in Puerto Rico.
Probably.
And,
Now, the benefit for the factory is just produce one. Even if you never sell another one again, that legally allows you to produce an ELSA and sell those. That's where they should make the money. Now, getting back to the instruction problem, of course, you can't, rule number 1 with an experimental, you can't use an experimental in a commercial operation. So the poor flight instructor still has to buy the SLSA and maintain it to that standard to be able to offer it for training. Sure, a student could buy an experimental and the instructor can instruct in it, because you're not renting the airplane, you're renting the instructor. So, and I think Camarillo for a while played the club fractional ownership game. I don't know if they still are or not. You know, that's another option. Sounds like a big fat hassle to me, you know. Now, the FAA recently, and I mean like last year, was it? Year before, I don't remember anymore. COVID was kind of thrown in there. I don't remember, it was 2 years ago. FAA wanted everyone to get a LOTA if they were going to train in an experimental, whether you owned it or not. This was nothing more than a paperwork hassle. You email somebody, they send you the form. You fill out the form, which is name and address and certificate number and what I plan to fly in. You email the form back to it. They email you your own special little exemption or LOTA, whatever you call it. I don't even know why somebody decided that we had to go through all that paperwork, but we could. Anyways, right now, so the poor guy that wants to just fly it quick, yeah, if I have somebody who can give somebody the taste of that blood in a 2-place, great. I mean, if it's for official training, you know, what am I gonna do? I gotta send them to somebody. Now, I do believe you can learn to fly in pretty much anything. Okay, the laws of physics are the same for my airplane, the 747, and a Triton, for that matter, the laws of physics. Yes, they behave a lot differently, so eventually, it would really be nice for a guy to have training in the kind of plane he's gonna fly. But, you know, so worst case, can you send somebody to somebody in a fancy light sport or even a 150 to learn to fly? Sure, why not, right? It's not like the old days, though, that is for sure. How to get over that? You gotta get an instructor here if you don't have one already. You gotta get one here.
Well, a CFI, you think
Yep.
of somebody who
Yep. Maybe a club plane, a club 2-seater.
That would be a-
I know,
Yeah.
you don't wanna be renting the 2-seater, and I get it, 9 times out of 10, a student or a guy on the street says, I think I'd like to fly. They don't buy airplanes, you don't, until they learn to fly and see if they really like it and that kind of thing. It does happen, I've had people do that. And yep, if you buy a plane that's, you know, legal on 2 seats and all that, you'll save a lot of money renting, during your training, but it's very far and few between that somebody buys an airplane.
And if we had a club plane, it would have to be SLSA, to be on the right side of the rules, or?
Well, I believe it could still be an experimental. It's not being rented. That's the key. It's not rented. And if you're club members, I think you could make the case if paperwork's done right, that you're a part owner of this airplane. I think you could.
still have to go through the liability restrictions for the airport.
Probably, yeah, they're gonna have a say-so in it too, I would imagine.
All this crap associated with insurance.
Possibly.